So this doesn't actually fit my head. Definitely goes to my daughter. So we're gonna see what it says about my hand. Don't do me wrong.
Right. Let's see where to put you.
Not Slytherin, not Slytherin.
Shrewd. Let's see. Slytherin.
Hello witches and wizards and muggles alike. Welcome or welcome back to my channel. If you are new here, my name is Kristen. Today's vlog marks the first of probably several vlogs that are going to be coming out of me rereading the Harry Potter series as an adult and as an avid reader. So I'm really hoping that you will enjoy it. I will warn you, there are spoilers. This is not spoiler free. This is running rampant with spoilers. Again, spoilers. There will be spoilers. I will repeat that as many times as necessary. Spoilers. So go ahead, sit back, relax. I hope you enjoy the vlog, and I will see you at the end when I give you my final thoughts. Hello, how are you? Welcome to the vlog, or welcome back to the vlog, I guess. I am about 100 pages into Harry Potter and the Sorcerer's Stone, and I am remembering why I love these books so much. It's just so sweet, and it's just so, it's like a nice little warm hug. It is like meeting to have coffee and chat with an old friend, because this is an old friend of mine. Harry Potter is an old friend of mine, and I enjoy rereading them. I enjoy going back into this universe and into this world, and at the same time it drives me insane because I think about the movies and I'm like, wow, they really messed that up, didn't they? I digress. I'm about 100 pages in. They just got back from Diagon Alley, and he is back at the Dursleys' house so that they can take him to King's Cross Station and get him on platform 9 3/4 and get him off to school. So they have already dealt with all of the fun owls and the letters from Hogwarts, and they've met Hagrid. I love Hagrid. I imagine he is just the coolest guy, but so dopey, but it still makes me so happy. And it's so fun to read from his perspective because it is written a Scottish man would talk. And so it's really fun and I really like it. And it's like, I almost forget how much I love these books until I drop myself back in. I'm really enjoying it. We're on chapter 6. The journey from platform 9 3/4. And so, and if you want to see my bookmark, say hi, Norbert. It's making me very happy. And I think it was a really good idea to read them at the beginning of 2023 because they do make my heart happy. They do bring me joy. I don't know, it's hard to explain. I do love these books, but it's so funny because as an adult, I'm looking back and I'm like, you can tell that at least this first one was written for younger kiddos because like the print's really big and it doesn't take up all the page. It's still even great as an adult to read. I just love the feeling it gives me. I love the pitter patter of my heart. And I don't know if I have ever explained the dust covers that you're gonna see are from Nerdy Ink. I couldn't resist. They're so cute. I think for this vlog, if I can manage it, I'm going to read Sorcerer's Stone, and I think I'm also going to read Chamber of Secrets. They're both the shortest books of the series, and as we go, they get bigger, as you can tell, so it might take me longer to read those. I'm flying through the first one. I just started it and I only read for a couple of hours. That's the plan. That is what I'm going to do. I'm hopefully going to put both in here. I am hoping to get some fun activities going. I've already made my Harry Potter hot cocoa. I received Harry Potter hot cocoa as color-changing hot cocoa as a Christmas present from my best friend, and so I've already made a round of hot cocoa, and I'm going to try to come up with some other fun things. We have Harry Potter Seen It downstairs, so maybe I'll convince my family to play with me. They don't like to play with me because I tend to win. I'm hoping I can get them to agree. And then once I finish this book, I'm gonna watch the movie. Like I said, I'm really glad I decided to do this because I definitely needed a reset. I need to re-engage in my reading, and I needed something that I knew the story behind, and I needed something that I knew would make me happy. Very happy with my decision to reread these. And I also just love being reminded how much these adults love this kid. Even though, like, if you've read the books and you've seen the movies, you start to wonder if Dumbledore ever really cared for him because of what ends up happening and what Dumbledore knows has to happen in order for Voldemort to be completely obliterated. You can tell from the very beginning, like McGonagall, she adores Harry. One of my favorite things is when she's sitting on the bricks as the tabby cat and she's got the outline of her glasses, and Vernon thinks it's just the funniest thing. Like, he's never seen, what an odd cat. Why does that cat look like it's wearing glasses? But she has literally sat there all day watching the Dursleys come and go and understands that they are awful people, but there's really no one else. There's no one else for Harry to be with. If you read like I do, where you envision what's going on in your head, which I don't know anybody who doesn't do that, you can see the compassion and the love that specifically McGonagall has for Harry already. She hasn't even really met him, you know, like he's still a baby, he's one. And Dumbledore is just, I don't know, he's such a great character, and he's so secretive and he's so funny. It's hard to explain. I love Dumbledore as a character. I love Hagrid as a character. I relate really well to Hermione. Ron is my comedic relief, and I think he's everybody's comedic relief. And then Harry is just this confused kid who maybe doesn't necessarily want what's been thrown at him. And he's definitely very confused at the beginning of this one because your aunt and your uncle tell you that your family died in a car accident, when in reality, Voldemort killed them and blew their house up, basically, and tried to kill him. He's angry. Of course he's angry. Not to mention he's been neglected and abused for the first 11 years of his life. But he's also confused. And I'm really glad that he has Hagrid, who is willing to step up and tell him things he needs to know, including things he doesn't need to know. Shouldn't have told you that. Should not have told you that. I'm gonna keep going with this. I'm gonna probably make this my focus for the day as it progresses. I do have to do some work because I'm working from home, but I'm hoping to look up some old reading sprints and sprint and read this. And I am, like I said, for the first time ever, I am tabbing this book. And because it is not a book I ever intend to give away, I am also highlighting in my book. So, things to remember, things that make me go, oh, or, you know, happy. Because my tabs are pretty simple. I love it. Makes my heart happy. This made me smile. Ooh, that's a beautiful line. That made me really sad. And that made me laugh. My tabs are really easy. And that's pretty much how I tab all my books. So I think also for one of these vlogs, I am going to try to make butterbeer. I haven't had butterbeer since I went to the Wizarding World in Orlando, Florida several years ago. I mean, it was a long time ago. 2014, maybe? I'm excited to try my hand at it, see if I'm any good at it. Or if it tastes any good. I don't even remember what it tastes like. I'm going to do my best to make this as fun and entertaining as possible. I have plans for my intro, which hopefully by this point you've already seen. Hopefully you enjoyed that. All right, well, I'm gonna get back to reading and I will catch up with you soon. When you're reading Harry Potter and you get to the point where you meet Scabbers and you internally growl because you know who that actually is and you already hate a poor, pathetic little brat. Sigh. See the school song, Hogwarts, Hogwarts, Hoggy, Warty, Hogwarts. I really, really wish they would have put that in the movie because they all sing it however they want with whatever tune is their favorite, and I think that's hysterical. And of course, the Weasleys, they are the only ones left singing at the end because they're singing it to a funeral dirge. I think the Weasleys are probably two of my favorite characters. Okay, I'm just gonna throw this out here. I love Lee Jordan. So we are at the Quidditch game where it's for Harry's first Quidditch match, and Lee is being the commentator, and he's just so funny, and it makes me smile every time, and it makes me laugh, and he's a favorite. Hey everybody, how we doing? So I am here to give you a bit of an update. I finished book 1. Yay, cue the applause. It's not like it took a lot of time. You want to say hi?
Hi.
Okay. Not like it took a whole lot of time. I mean, it's a thin book. I have thoughts. I have opinions. I hope you are prepared because this is a spoiler-filled vlog. So again, I did really enjoy this book, and it definitely brought me back to my childhood, and it felt really nice. I smiled the whole way through it. It just makes me very, very happy. It's fun to reread these because there's a lot of foreshadowing that you didn't really know was there when you were reading them the first time. Like at the very end, it's when Harry has just beaten Voldemort and he is in the hospital wing, and Dumbledore comes and he's talking to him about everything. Dumbledore. And he's talking to him about everything. And he says, there are some things I'd like to know if you can tell me, things I want to know the truth about. The truth, Dumbledore sighed, is a beautiful and terrible thing, and should therefore be treated with great caution. However, I shall answer your questions unless I have a very good reason not to, in which case I beg you'll forgive me. I shall not, of course, lie. Well, Voldemort said that he only killed my mother because she tried to stop him from killing me. But why would he want to kill me in the first place? Dumbledore sighed very deeply this time. Alas, the first thing you ask me, I cannot tell you. Not today, not now. You will know one day, but put it from your mind for now, Harry. When you are older, I know you hate to hear this. When you are ready, you will know. And so if that's not foreshadowing as to what happens in book 7, I don't know what is. It's so funny to me that as these stories go and as Harry grows up, he grows to respect Dumbledore more and really appreciate Dumbledore more, and at the same time there's this underlying, he's keeping a secret from you. It's a big secret, it's not a good secret, and so there's always this little seed of doubt possibly, but he was always just so ready to support and go to hell and back for Dumbledore, needless to say. Dumbledore. Part of me is enjoying this because, like I said before, I'm seeing things as an adult I didn't see when I read it for the first time as a kid. And a lot of it is like the foreshadowing. So I'm actually noticing that now. And I'm able to be like, haha, I know what happens. There are lots of things I'm discovering that as much as I love the movies and I love sitting and watching them and they just make me feel good, there's a lot about the movies that I am now like, okay, well, maybe not. Because Neville, he plays a much bigger part in this book than he did in the movie. And he plays a much bigger part in the whole story than he did in the movies. Like, if you didn't read the books, you didn't know that Neville was also possibly considered as the boy who lived, or, you know, who Harry is. Like, if you didn't read the books, you didn't know that. You just know that the second half of the 7th movie, he kills the snake and everybody just loves him for that. And you also see him grow up and all of that, but you don't know the huge role he actually plays. And so I'm really upset for that. I'm upset that for people who haven't read these books, because you don't really know the whole story. And I forgot how much of a pain in the butt Peeves is, the poltergeist, and how he's just so terrified of the Bloody Baron. I'm gonna go ahead and start the second one. I'm gonna start Chamber of Secrets, and I'm gonna throw that one in this vlog too, because they are 2 of the shortest books in the series, and instead of doing 1 vlog for each of them, I'll just go ahead and try to do 2 until we get to the thicker books. So more than likely, Goblet of Fire will be its own vlog because it's very thick. Order of the Phoenix will also be its own vlog because it's very thick. And then A Half-Blood Prince, and then Deathly Hallows, which probably means either Prisoner of Azkaban will be its own, or I'll try to add it to this one. But I mean, it's a big boy too. And it's also my favorite. So this one is my favorite, so maybe it will be its own vlog. If you've read them and you haven't reread them, I suggest you do. If you've read them and you really loved them, if you read them and they mean something to you, I suggest you go back and you reread them, because there's just so much there that I didn't see before. There is so much more involved. I can get why in the beginning they didn't like Hermione, but I think Hermione is just thought that being smart and knowing all the things was what she needed to do and how she needed to act. She is from a Muggle family. I feel like she feels like she has more to prove, and because of that, she comes off as a pain in the butt and nerdy and pushy. And so I feel like once everything happens with the troll and Harry and Ron come in and save her life and she backs them up, I think that makes her realize that, you know, she doesn't have to put on this act anymore. She can let things hurt her feelings and she can be more of herself. And I think that is when she's like, okay, maybe I can actually be friends with these guys. And so it's really nice to see that happen and to see that form and to see just how big of a pain in the butt she was for the first over half of the book. But I still love her. She's still one of my favorites. And Hagrid is still one of my favorites, one of my favorite lines. I should not have told you that. I should not have told you that. He's just so sweet and he just wants the best for the kids and he wants what's best for Harry. He just wants to be, you know, he's like a big burly brother, I think. There's a reason he's my favorite. So those are my thoughts on book one. Like I said, I highly suggest if you haven't reread them since you were young or you have thought about it, I suggest you do, because they're just, I smiled the whole time and I feel really good. And I'm really glad that I had decided that this was what I was gonna do to kick off January. I was going to read a series that has always brought me joy, that has always made me happy. I still have to watch the movie. Maybe I'll do that today once we get home from whatever fun we're gonna have this afternoon. All right, well, I'm gonna start the second one and then I will catch up with you guys in a bit. Bye. Hey guys, how you doing? How's it going? I am in line to pick up Cadence, and so I figured I'd take a minute to give you guys a little bit of an update. I am a little over halfway through Chamber of Secrets, and even though I've seen the movie a ton of times, like, I totally forgot that as much as I love Dobby, he's kind of in this. In the beginning of this, anyway. Like, I get it. I get why he's doing it. I get why he's trying to protect Harry. I get why he doesn't want Harry to be at Hogwarts, because, I mean, the Chamber of Secrets is open. We know, if you've read the books or seen the movie, you know who is running the Chamber of Secrets. So why wouldn't he want Harry to not go back to school? I get it. I do. I really do. But I mean, come on. A rogue bludger? It's like you forget these things, don't you? You forget these things. And I forgot about that. I forgot how big of a Dobby was at the beginning of all of this. And yes, I love him now, and you know, may he rest in peace. If you didn't know, this is a spoiler-filled vlog. So yes, may he rest in peace. I love him now, but I forgot how big of a total a-hole he was in the beginning. It comes from a good place, though. That I know. It does come from a good place. I am about halfway through. He just got back to Moaning Myrtle's bathroom where they're making the polyjuice potion after getting his bones regrown in the hospital wing. After, oh so brilliant Professor Lockhart ended up making all of his bones disappear after the Quidditch match. There is that, my friends. We did end up watching the first movie, which I still love the movies. I still think they're really good. I think they're really good for what they are. You know, I think they did relatively well keeping up with the books, but the books will always be better. It will always be better. And it really does astound me just how much they left Neville out of the movies, or at least out of that movie, because he played a much bigger part in the book than he does in the movies. So it makes me a little sad. It really, really does. I can't remember the last time I watched Chamber of Secrets, because I don't usually watch that one. I'll watch the first one pretty frequently when I think about it, or if it's on TV. but I don't watch Chamber of Secrets very often, and then I constantly watch Prisoner of Azkaban because I love that one when it's on, so I'll watch it. My dad and I actually went to see Deathly Hallows Part 1 and Deathly Hallows Part 2 played at the St. Louis Symphony. They played the movie and then the symphony played the music. That was an awesome experience. If you ever get a chance to do something like that, I highly suggest you do, because it is so immersive. Like, you're watching the movie and you're loving it, and then you've got a whole orchestra playing the songs, and you're just like playing the whole score, and you're just like, wow, this is incredible. And our symphony does that pretty frequently. They've done Home Alone, they did Elf, they did Jurassic Park, they've done all the Harry Potter movies, but my dad and I just went and saw Deathly Hallows Part 1 and Deathly Hallows Part 2 because I love those movies too. But you're in a theater full of Harry Potter lovers, and so you're actually able to laugh when things are funny, and you cheer, and they ask you which house you're in at the beginning, and you cheer for whatever house you're in. It was a whole lot of fun. It was a great little immersive experience, so I highly recommend doing that. If you have a symphony in your area or any place that's willing to do that, I highly suggest you do that. It's fun, and you can do it for any movie they show. Here I am, about a little over halfway through Chamber of Secrets. Again, another fast read. I'm actually listening to it as well, which is fun because I really like Jim Dale, and I totally forgot. I was listening to this the first time through, and I was like, why does his voice sound so familiar? And then I realized he narrated Night Circus, and I listened to Night Circus, so I love him. He's so great. But I've never listened to the audiobooks before, and so I'm taking the opportunity during my reread to do that as much as I can. I didn't do the first book because by the time I realized I could listen to the audiobooks, there was like an 8-week hold on the first book through my library, and I was like, I'll just read it. And then now this one became available pretty quickly, so I'm listening to this one, and I'm gonna try to get the third one too. I'm enjoying it. It's fun. I'm trying my best to I'm annotating and I'm trying to remember things, and it's like there's so many things I don't remember. Probably get this one finished tonight or tomorrow, even though I'm also reading Frostheart, but I'm not gonna get into that. I'm gonna try to get through this one, if not tonight, tomorrow, so that I can keep going and I can upload this vlog. I figured I'd give you a little update while I'm sitting here waiting for, as you can see, there's tons of cars. So I'm just patiently waiting to be able to pick up my youngest from school. I'm gonna go back to listening to my book, and I will catch you guys later. This guy? I don't like this guy. Nope. But why she got to go to the library? Because that's what Hermione does, says Ron, shrugging. When in doubt, go to the library. Uh-huh. Ding, 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 ding. Or the bookstore. Or you can go to the bookstore. Hey guys, how's it going? So I wanted to give you guys an update. I have finished Harry Potter and the Chamber of Secrets. I still did really enjoy it. It is probably not my favorite of the 7 books, but it's still good. I think I appreciate it a little bit more as an adult. I feel like I appreciate all of these books a little bit more as an adult, but this one in particular, the movie did not do this book justice. I will always be a Ginny fan, and the movies never did Ginny any justice, and so justice for Ginny, justice for Ginny. But particularly, the ending of the movie completely left out a lot of the Tom Riddle story. And I remember walking out of the theater being relatively confused, and even now when I watch it, I'm like, wait, explain to me how that works. And in the book they do, in the movie they don't so much. I was reminded about it. I was like, okay, right, now I remember. And so yes, the movie did not do this book any justice, and it's probably my least favorite movie, probably my least favorite book, but I still really, really enjoyed it, which is saying something. And again, I feel like I appreciate it more as an adult. I will go more deeper into my thoughts, but I wanted to let you know that I did finish it and it was still good. I gave it 5 stars because I think I will give all of them 5 stars, even if they're not my favorite. I greatly enjoyed this, and now I can move on to my favorite of the series, which is Prisoner of Azkaban. The one I'm least excited to read is Order of the Phoenix. And let me explain. Order of the Phoenix, I love that story. I love the book. I love all of that, okay? But the first half of the book, I have a problem with Harry. And I'm starting to discover that maybe I have a tiny problem with Harry all around because I don't like his whininess, and boy, is this kid a little bit whiny. Whiny Harry is not my favorite, and he definitely spends a little bit of time whining in every single one of the books. So yes, I will give a full review in a little bit. I have a bit of a headache. I'm gonna try to nurse that, and then I will film my intro and my outro for this and hopefully get it posted tomorrow morning. We'll see. I'll check in with you guys later. Bye. All right, welcome back. Hope you enjoyed yourself. So let's talk book numero uno. I still really love this book. I still really love this series. You can tell that I'm not really the meant for demographic of these stories, but that's okay. I still really enjoy them. Harry is such a tormented and strange little bird, but he's also very brave of heart, but also not very smart. I don't understand. Like, why? Why do you keep doing these things to yourself, Harry Potter? Tell me, how does that make you feel? So in this one, if you didn't know, it's Harry's first year at Hogwarts. He is the child who survived Voldemort, and Voldemort is he who shall not be named. He's a big bad evil wizard who killed a bunch of people and then died when he killed his parents and then tried to kill him, but the spell backfired, and now Harry has a pretty gnarly scar on his head. So he's raised, well, I use the term raised very loosely. He is abused by Petunia and Vernon Dursley, and they have a son named Dudley, who is a big jerk and very spoiled. He's raised believing that his parents died in a car crash, when in reality they were killed by the Dark Lord. So he ends up finding out on his 11th birthday that he is a wizard. He takes off to Hogwarts, where he learns all about magic. He gets friends for the very first time. He feels like he has family. He feels at home and at peace at Hogwarts until the end of the year. There is a big bad evil playing into it and looking for the Sorcerer's Stone. So it is up to Harry to get the stone to make sure that the big bad Voldemort doesn't get it. Now, this has been full of spoilers, and it will continue to be full of spoilers because, as you know, at the end of this book, if you don't know and you don't want to know, you shouldn't be watching the vlog because I made sure to put spoilers at the beginning. So if you don't know, at the end of this, Harry comes face to face, basically face to face, face to back of head, face to nose with Voldemort, who is possessing, for lack of a better term, Professor Quirrell, who is the Defense Against the Dark Arts teacher. Now, through the entire book, they believe that Snape is after the Sorcerer's Stone. In reality, Snape is trying to protect the Sorcerer's Stone and is trying to protect Harry, while Quirrell is trying to kill him. And then at the end, you find out that it's actually Quirrell that has been trying to get to the Sorcerer's Stone. Quirrell is the one that released a troll into the dungeons. Quirrell tried to knock Harry off his broom by bewitching the broom, and so Voldemort is attached to Quirrell, and they are living off unicorn blood that they find in the Forbidden Forest. So that is how Voldemort is surviving. He is nothing but a hull of a man. If anything, I would just call him more of like a spirit of some kind, smoke, if you will. He makes me kind of think of like the demons in Supernatural. If you've ever watched that show, the big black smoke. Yeah, all you gotta do is smell sulfur. That is the basis of this one. It's really good. It's a great first step into the Harry Potter universe and understanding who Harry is, a little bit more about his background. You're learning about all the characters. You're learning that he hates Draco and that Draco hates him. Obviously, you find out there's more to that as the stories progress. He meets Ron and then he gets Hermione, and that's when their little trio of friendship starts. This book is very, very PG. It's not as dark as some of the other ones get along the way, and so it is a really good first step into the Harry Potter universe, and then slowly working your way through the rest of the books. There are moments of sweetness. There are moments of fun. There are moments of all of these wonderful things, and I still don't feel like the movies do these books justice, but this one stayed pretty true to the book. This movie stayed pretty true to the book, which makes me really happy. I did really love this book. I love stepping into this world and reliving it. I have read this one probably more than I've read the rest of them because it's just the one I pick up. It's the shortest and it's the easiest to read and it's quick to get through. The only thing I am discovering that maybe I don't necessarily like about these books, and I'm discovering it as I'm reading on, is the repetition. I understand that these books all didn't come out at the same time, and you weren't expected to read them all at the same time. Each book has recaps it seems like. But the way that She Who Shall Not Be Named wrote them, it's very childlike. And I get that. That's the point. These are supposed to be child-friendly books. And like I said, you're not supposed to be reading it back to back to back to back to back. They didn't all come out at the same time. It is a little repetitive. Otherwise, they're still really good. And it's still a good place to start. I still really love this book. I still really love this world. The world building is really nice too. It's things like that that I didn't notice as a kid when I was reading them, is the world building, the character development, all of that kind of stuff. I just sucked myself into the magic that is Hogwarts. And it still got 5 stars. Now we shall discuss this one. This one is probably my least favorite of the books, and that's saying something because it still got 5 stars for me because it is still a comfort read. I will say this one is probably my least favorite movie because of just how far they take things. Like the entire ending of this book, Tom Riddle has lived in a diary that he has manipulated Ginny to use to do unbelievable harm to a bunch of not pure blood, right? Mudbloods, don't call them that. Muggleborns, things like that. She has done unspeakable things. She's released the serpent to do the unspeakable things. She's killed roosters. She's done all of that. In the movie, you don't see any of that. You don't know where the diary came from. You know that it shows up in a bathroom. Moaning Myrtle's all upset because Ginny threw it through her head. And then you know that it gets stolen from Harry. But in the book, Ginny is acting very suspicious every time. And she's acting suspicious. She's really scared. She's really upset. She's trying to talk to them about what's going on, but things keep interrupting her. And then at the end of the book, she ends up down in the Chamber of Secrets where she is dying. In the movie, you don't know that she's really dying. You know that she's not awake, and Tom Riddle even says she won't wake, but there's a reason. And I was thinking about this because I remember seeing the movie and being kind of confused because, as we all know, the books came out in 1990s-ish, and then the movies came out well after that. And so it had been a while since I'd read this. And I remember really being confused about why Ginny was dying. Ginny is a pureblood. She comes from a pureblood family. So why is Tom Riddle using her? Well, you find out he's like sucking her soul. Every minute she stays asleep, or every time she has confided in him, or every time she has bared her soul to him, she's given him a piece of herself. So he is becoming human again. He is becoming a being. He is able to be touched and felt. And in the diary, he can't be that way. But if you give yourself to him, if you bare your soul to him and you give him parts of yourself, he takes it and he becomes human again. He becomes a form of a person. It didn't explain any of that in the movie. And so I was watching the movie and I was like, no, I'm right. It didn't explain that. But Tom Riddle does a really great job of explaining it in the book. Like what he's doing, how he did it, why he did it, all of that. We all know why he did it. He's evil. Because as you know, if you've read the book and you've seen the movie, Tom Riddle is Lord Voldemort. You find out more about Tom Riddle's history. You learn he was actually like a prefect and he was a really good student and he got special services to the school and he did all of this, all the while playing this I'm gonna be mean, I'm gonna be evil, I'm gonna dig into the world of the dark arts and things of that nature. I still liked this book, it was still good, but this is definitely a step darker than this one. And I feel like it's darker because people get really hurt, people end up petrified, Ginny almost dies, so there's a lot to it. Also, I dislike Harry a little in this book. Like, there are parts I was like, why are you whining? Why are you whining? When he broke his arm and he was waiting for his bones to go back because Lockhart's an idiot, he is complaining because Ron and Hermione did not come to see him and they must not have cared that he was out of the hospital. Dude, Hermione and Ron are in the bathroom making a polyjuice potion so you guys can figure out if Draco Malfoy is the heir of Slytherin. So they doing you a favor. Do you think Hermione and Ron would be getting into the kind of trouble they're getting into if Harry wasn't there? Probably not. Hermione would be doing absolutely everything by the book. Ron would just be skating by. I also don't think Ron and Hermione would be friends because Ron really didn't like Hermione in the first book until the whole troll thing happened and she stuck up for them. So if Harry wasn't there, they wouldn't be getting into trouble. And if they wouldn't have befriended Hermione, he would have died in the first book. But yes, I feel like he spends a lot of time whining in this book. And the whole interactions with Colin Creevey, instead of avoiding the child, just say, hey, I don't want my picture taken. I'm not interested in signing your pictures. Just, can we stop? I'm cool with being nice to you, but can we stop? Stand up for yourself, Harry. Stand up for yourself. Lockhart, what an idiot. The dude's an idiot. I'm kind of glad he doesn't have his memories anymore. I had lots of thoughts about this book that I don't remember having before. I remember when I was a kid, I really, really liked it. And I do still really like it. It's a really great concept. It's a really great idea. It really adds to the story. It is helping you know Tom Riddle more. You learn that Tom Riddle is Voldemort, and you learn a little bit about his history. You get a little idea of what happened to Hagrid and why he was expelled, and you learn all of these wonderful things. It adds to this one, for sure. So it's definitely doing its job. It's definitely adding to the story. It is giving you more, but it is still my least favorite. But again, like I said, that's saying something because I still gave it 5 stars, just because it's a warm hug. There are parts of this book that I really liked. I'm a huge fan of the mandrakes, the screaming baby mandrakes. I'm a big fan. I'm a big fan of Hagrid. I am a big fan of Aragog, even though he's evil in this book. But I also don't like spiders. I am definitely with Ron. Why couldn't it have been Follow the Butterflies? I also really love Fang and his little... I loved Fang in both of these books. I loved Fang in the first one when he was a coward and ran off when they saw Voldemort drinking the blood of a unicorn. And I loved Fang in this one when he took off with the spiders. Fang is my spirit animal. So there you have it. This is me reading these books again, having some thoughts on them. And like I said, it's very obvious that at least the start of these books are meant for a younger group of kids. It's very easy to read. It's very quick. There's not that many words on any single page. So it's definitely more young adult, middle grade-ish in the beginning. Definitely probably, I would say middle grade. I think it's got a good middle grade vibe. At least the first 2 books have a very good middle grade vibe. When Charlie was younger, I wouldn't let them read these. And then when we started watching the movies, we watched the first movie, so they wanted to read the first book. So I let them read the first book. I let them read the second book. And then at about book 5, they stopped reading just because it's a lot. And I went through that same thing. I didn't start reading Harry Potter until the 4th book had been released. And so I read the first one, then I read the second one, then I read the third one, then I was trying to get through the 4th one, but as we all know, the 4th one is a big boy. And so it took me a little while. And by then I was burnt out on the characters. And so it took me until the 5th one was about to come out to read the 4th one. And so I get it. It's a lot. It's a lot to ingest. But when they were younger and were asking me if they could read the books when they were 6 or 7, I was like, no, like they're not meant for kids your age. Charlie has always read above their grade level. Right now they're 13 and they're reading at an 11th grade reading level. So books that are meant for kids their age aren't holding their attention. And so they get the high school books, they get the young adult books, they get all of that with the understanding that if there's something that they are reading that is making them uncomfortable, they don't have to keep reading. They can put the book away. Or if they're reading something and it spooks them, they can put the book away. But now I would honestly, they could read the whole series and I would be fine. But when they were 7 or 8 and they were asking me, I was like, no, I was probably 10 when the first one came out. I didn't start reading them until I was 11 or 12. So let's just wait a little longer because they do get significantly darker. Definitely by book 4, they get significantly darker. I told them, I said, it kind of reads like the first book, the second book, the third book are like almost like standalones. They are books that you could read. I suggest reading them in order, but they're a trilogy. That's the first trilogy. And then 4, 5, 6, and 7, that's your saga. And that's your more adult themes and a lot scarier and a lot darker. And so really had no problem with them with the first 3, but I knew that they were going to want to keep going. I do suggest that if you're going to let your kiddos read these, maybe when they're 8 or 9 or 10, they can start with the first 3, but hold off on the rest of them just a little bit longer. I am enjoying diving back into this world. I am really having a good time. According to that lovely hat back there, I'm supposed to be a Slytherin. Malarkey. Every test I've ever taken, I'm a Gryffindor. That's what I have for you guys. I hope you enjoyed the vlog. I tried to have some commentary on some different chapters that I was reading, some different thoughts that I had as we went. I didn't get as crazy into different things this time around just because lots was going on. And so I'm hoping when I'm reading the rest of them, I can do more fun things like make butterbeer or something of that nature just to keep my head in the game. So the next one I do believe will be a standalone because Prisoner of Azkaban is my favorite. I love the movie. I love the book. Sirius Black is one of my all-time favorite characters. Buckbeak is my favorite magical creature. And Fluffy's a big second because I like Fluffy, even if they're scary. I would love to have a Cerberus to, protect my home. But no, I just have a 10-year-old pit bull and a 4-year-old pit bull who love people and would probably lick your face if you tried to break into my home. I will probably do a standalone vlog for Prisoner of Azkaban and likely a standalone vlog for the rest of them, because they are so long, and because this is where the story gets less trilogy, standalone, more saga, more everything is wrapped in, like each book is wrapped into the previous book in some way, and instead of layering on one another, they're kind of braided together. So instead of the second book layers onto the first book, the third book layers onto the second book, and everything kind of fits in together, this one is more like we're weaving it all together. In the seventh book, it's like they're mentioning something that was mentioned in the fourth book, and you're like, wait, what? They will probably each have their own video. I'll be able to mark a lot more of like foreshadowing sequences, things of that nature. So I hope you enjoyed the vlog. I'm enjoying doing them. I am really enjoying jumping back into this world and getting wrapped up in it again. I've already started reading Prisoner of Azkaban, so that vlog has already started. I will get this one uploaded as soon as I can, and then we will go from there. If you liked what you see, go ahead and like and comment down below. Shoot me a comment if you've read the books. Which one's your favorite? Which one are you looking forward to me rereading the most? Leave me some kind of magical symbol below, whether it's a star. I don't know if there's wands. You can leave me a wand. You could leave me a wizard. You could leave me a muggle. Go ahead and subscribe to my channel as well. If you like what you see, there's lots more content to come. And then as always, I hope you live, love, and read lots of books, and I will see you guys next time. Bye.